Governor Reynolds has decided to relax coronavirus restrictions in 77 of Iowa's 99 counties. This comes after the state reported 349 new cases of the virus. That puts Iowa at 5,868 total cases. Governor Reynolds also reported 9 new deaths related to COVID-19 for a total of 127 deaths. More than 2,000 Iowans have recovered from the illness.
Here's a look at where the restrictions are loosening up on Friday. They are the 77 counties highlighted in green, including cities like Ames, Ottumwa, and Fort Dodge. Several central Iowa counties, those highlighted here in yellow, are not being allowed to reopen yet. They include Polk, Dallas, Jasper, Poweshiek, Marshall, and Tama. KCCI's Chris Gothner is live in Des Moines tonight with what's opening back up on Friday for some of us.
Well, because Polk County isn't one of those 77, that means fitness centers like the Downtown Y here will not be reopening until at least May 15th. But some of those fitness centers will be able to reopen in those 77 counties. That's one of the businesses that is on the list of what can partially reopen. But again, it is a partial reopening. Now, those 77 counties make up only about 45% of Iowa's population, so it's not the majority. Any restaurants, malls, retail establishments, racetracks, libraries, and as we mentioned, gyms can reopen there. But the big catch is it can only be at up to 50% capacity. Governor Reynolds says that's because there are either 0 positive cases in these 77 counties, which is why she says they can reopen partially, or they are on a downward trend. Now, the governor spoke this morning saying she wants to balance public health with the state's economic well-being. She says the state's level of mitigation is not suitable for the long term.
I believe that if Iowans continue working together as we have the last few months, we can protect lives and secure livelihoods at the same time.
Now, in the reopening counties, most gatherings will still be limited to just 10 people. Additionally, inside those malls, play areas and food court seating areas will remain closed. Now, we'll have more on the governor's rationale for this order coming up on KCCI 8 News at 6. But for now, live in downtown Des Moines, Chris Gothner, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Starting Friday, people in all of Iowa's 99 counties will be allowed to resume religious gatherings under the governor's new order. KCCI's Ticia Muzinga tells us the guidelines they have to follow.
Well, Stacey, the governor's office says there can be more than 10 people at a religious gathering. It's up to the host to make sure people are practicing social distancing. A statement from the latest proclamation reads in part, a church, synagogue, or other host of a spiritual or religious gathering shall implement reasonable measures under the circumstances of each gathering to ensure social distancing. Reverend Mike Rose of the Mission Church in Urbandale says they will stick to online services until the church comes up with a plan.
We've been doing the online services now for 6 weeks, and that's been going remarkably well. We've had great viewership. We've seen people coming forward and wanting to help, people wanting to help people financially who have lost their incomes. We've had just a variety of people who have come forward and said, hey, how can we serve the community?
Now, Reverend Rose says the church will have a staff meeting Tuesday morning, and also the health department has updated guidelines as the state slowly reopens.
An important message from Iowa Workforce Development tonight. It says an Iowan placed on a temporary layoff because of COVID-19 who now refuses to return to work when called back by their employer will lose their unemployment benefits. There are a number of exceptions to this rule, including if the employee has tested positive for coronavirus or they do not have child care due to COVID-19 reasons. Workforce Development says employees in those positions should work with their employer to find the best way to handle that situation.
Restaurants in Story, Warren, and 75 other counties can conduct limited business starting Friday by hosting just 50% of their normal customers. KCCI senior reporter Todd Magel visited Main Street in downtown Ames today, where the people who run a family-owned cafe there are rejoicing.
We're in downtown Ames, and the news that restaurants are reopening in Story County is the best news that restaurants have heard in a long, long time. We stopped by the Grove Cafe here on Main Street today. We were also here 6 weeks ago when the shutdown order began. Owner Larry Goodall was shocked when he discovered he would have to close his doors to all but takeout food, and he wondered if he could survive. Since then, he says business has been way down, which is no surprise, but he has kept the doors open. Now he says reopening will allow him to pay some bills, even though he's only allowed to have 50% of his seats filled.
I think it's great for a small business person like me. For the last 6 weeks, it's taken me a whole week worth of business to do what I usually do on Saturday. Yeah, operating at a loss to try to just pay some of the utility bills. I mean, we do what we have to do. I'm glad she's starting to open it up. This will give us a chance to, maybe I can do it at break even for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then we can make money after that.
Goodall says he is grateful to all of his customers who have ordered takeout. Now he hopes they return to eat inside on Friday. In Ames, Todd Magel, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.